All right, number 17. This one
Yeah. A lot of these are
is
argument.
emotionally powerful to me.
This next one's emotionally powerful to you.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's get into it then. Whoa. The argument from inertia. Also, stay the course. The fallacy that is the fallacy that it is necessary to continue on a mistaken course of action, regardless of pain and sacrifice involved, and even after discovering it is mistaken, because changing course would mean admitting that one's decision, or one's leader, or one's country, or one's faith was wrong, and all one's effort, expense, sacrifice, and even bloodshed was for nothing, and that's unthinkable. A variety of the argument from consequences. E for effort. Whew. Ah, or the appeal to tradition. See also throwing good money after bad. Interesting. Yeah. You why is this one so I can imagine why, and I'm curious why this one is why is this emotional for you?
Yeah. Um, I would say that this one has happened to me when I was in a cult. I didn't know I was in one at the time. And one of the reasons that I stayed there for so long was because, well, I put so much effort into this. I got really good at this bad thing. And so, for my own safety, I might as well just stick with it.
Mm.
And with, uh, like in the examples it shows here, one leader, one country, one faith, I absolutely sympathize with people who are in countries that are doing bad things, uh, or in religions that uh, preach bad things, or even with the first one, like Trump supporters, they're like at first, like there might be a couple things that like, oh well, I'm with him on abortion and whatnot, and then it just says some crazy ass shit, but they already have all the Trump merchandise, so it's too late now. So so
Yeah.
it's I feel very sympathetic for this because it's um for their own safety, it's really hard to leave, especially if you're in a religion, a cult, a country that would kill you on mentioning the idea that they could possibly be doing something wrong. This is how genocide is happening in Gaza right now, and everyone's okay with it. And oh, I'm very bothered by that.
Yeah.
I feel like you
Yeah.
have a lot of thoughts on this one.
Yeah, it's just it's for me it's I think what it really pokes out on me is like the it's kind of happening right now like, in my own world in the sense of like so I've been running a business for the past 2 years, and there's now the possibility that I'm going to be no longer running that business, at least the way that I had previously thought. Like I was like, oh, this is going to be, what I'm going to do forever. This is going to be what I'm going to do always. Everything's going to grow from this. I'm going to have my brand, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then it's like it was interesting. It's like over the last 2 years, it's like I've identified skills and honed in skills that I'm very good at and that are very valuable. And then I've identified skills that I don't have that I thought I had that are ultimately leading to the breakdown of the business structure as a whole. And so it's like there's something that my mentor says to me quite a bit. He'll say that you aren't chasing your dreams until you've begun to start giving up some of your best loved ideas. And I was like, yeah, I could totally see that because now it's like the dream that I have is, in a sense, to be able to be doing what Tony Robbins did for me back in 2017, to be doing exactly the same thing. And I'm willing to do whatever it takes to get to that dream. I just didn't think that doing whatever it takes meant not running my business and potentially going into somebody else's business again. So it's like I really identify with Yeah, like when someone puts their whole freaking heart and soul into something and they believe with everything in their body at the time they made the decision to put their heart and soul into something, that it was going to be the way. And it's really hard to pivot once you've done that because then you have to like realize that you, in a sense, organized your entire nervous system towards the accomplishment or the reaching of a goal. And then all of a sudden it's like, and now time to pivot. I think it's just hard. I think it's hard to do for a lot of people.
It's really hard to imagine that a lot of time was wasted on something or wasn't spent as efficient as it could have been.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's really hard. And so the way that I escaped being in a cult essentially was like through step by step. Um, the cult that I was in was a job, so I was financially dependent on it working. And so the first thing I did was get a second job. And then I just kind of like slowly took my foot off of the gas pedal. And then eventually I was able to uh, disconnect. But the reason why I don't just straight up say what it is because there's actually still a lot of relationships that are connected to that. And even that can still hurt me.
Yeah.
And so,
Do you think that that time was a waste of time for you? Like a waste of it? Like totally?
no. Um,
You were just saying
do
that
I
you
think 95% of it was? Yeah.
really?
But that 5%, I'm not saying that because one could say, oh, well, I needed that to get to where I am. Well, I did use that to get to where I am. Doesn't mean that that was the only way I could have gotten to where I am. So, and that's the, I think that's another fallacy. I forget the name of it, but the fallacy is essentially like um, the way that things played out, how they were supposed to play out. And it's like, no, like, did the Holocaust really need to happen for us to know to not do a Holocaust? Like, no, the same thing with like 9/11. Like, did we need that to happen to have safer security?
Mm.
We should have just had safer security. So, yeah, that's again, that's a different fallacy, but that's what I would say. Was it more helpful to me than not? Just me myself? Yeah. The damage that, in my opinion, me being there caused to other people in and outside of that business is absolutely not worth it. I would say that um, tremendous more damage was done because of me being there and using the justification that they used there for me to do things I'm not proud of. And
Mm.
it's really hard to uh, admit that all of that was for nothing. That sucks. And so, um,
Mm.
yeah, did it help me? Yeah. Could I have potentially done that business in a way that uh, did not hurt others? The way that it's currently set up, I'm not confident that's possible because in the latter part of me being there, I had this hypothesis like, okay, well, is there a way to run this business in a way that is ethically sound in every category? I like made a mental list in my head, like, okay, this thing bothers me, this thing bothers me, this thing does. Can I run it in a way that doesn't violate those things?
Mm.
And um, I tried, and ultimately uh, failed financially because of it in the business. And I'm not saying that that's a valid experiment because I could have just been a bad manager. But that's also the thing that cults do is like they always blame you. It's you. It's not business. It's always you're the one at fault. There's no possibility that the business could do anything wrong. It's always you. Um, so, uh, anyways, not saying that. I'm saying that I tried to do it as ethically as possible and be successful, and I couldn't do both at the same time. There was a time where I was financially successful in the business and realized unethical things were happening, got rid of those unethical things, did not do well at the business despite my best efforts. And yeah, so I'm not confident it's possible.
Interesting. Yeah, for me, it's definitely looking back at the past. I would definitely call myself someone who subscribes to, um, I definitely subscribe to the idea that things happen for a reason, and also uh, that there's always good to me. Like there are, or like time. I don't know. For me, I there's a part of me that really does believe that time is not wasted. It cannot be wasted because even all that time, even if it was something I really didn't enjoy, or I could have been working on something else, every circumstance that I reflect back on, I learned something about myself or something about others or something about the world or something about how things go or how things don't go. And that almost always has reinforced my ability to perform in the present. So yeah, I find that the argument of like, I do agree that people have a hard time. They really have a hard time with the idea of potentially having wasted time. That's a huge thing for people.
Yeah.
Just as I think just as difficult as having wasted money or wasted effort. I think it's really hard.
Yeah. Well, when I say wasted, I am exaggerating a little bit because I did want to clarify that um, it wasn't completely wasted. It was still modestly progressive, but compared to a different thing that would have been a lot more progressive. The comparison of what could have been done with that time versus what was done is the wasted part. Not that it's truly nothing happened, but
Mm.
a lot more could happen because as we see society, I am convinced that things will always get better. It's just that now that things are going to get better a lot slower than they would have been, and
Interesting.
in
How do you know that?
I mean we will see. Um, Mostly what's going on in Gaza. Let me just Google how many children are dying of starvation every day because that's what's happening right now.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
many children are dying of starvation every day?
Yeah. There was a huge increase in
10,000 children die every day uh, of starvation. 10,000.
10, you said 10.
10,000. 10,000 children die every day due to starvation. It is says 25,000 people, and 10,000 of those are children. So that's cool.
So that's cool.
Yeah. So I would say that that is a waste of life.
No, I would
That
agree.
so yeah. I don't think that happens for a reason. Like in a good sense, that's bad. And yeah, if if you're gonna have, I, while I like the idea that there are good things that happen and that everything would happen for a reason. I think maybe at one time I did believe that. Um, the claim still needs to be falsifiable. And if 10,000 children dying every day doesn't falsify it, then I'm sorry, I don't know what does. It sounds unfalsifiable to me after that.
Hmm.
I know I'm very bleak, but I promise that I'm a very happy person.
No, I don't see you as bleak. I just see you as having a really big heart. To me, it's like I see I see you as someone who you look at the factual evidence and you seriously consider the factual evidence, whereas most people, they see the factual evidence, and if they don't like the factual evidence, they will either pretend it doesn't exist or they'll directly oppose it. So or if they, if the, and this is, I think this is actually even more common, is like if we receive something like that, like 10,000 children dying per day from starvation, it's like there are people who they hear that and they go, well, there's nothing I can do about it. And then they just let it go. Yeah, it's a whole thing. It's powerful.
Anyways, that's argument from inertia. That's staying the course. We don't do fucking anything. Then 10,000 kids die every fucking day. So maybe we should stop doing that.
Hmm.
All right. That's what we
Good,
got.
good expressions. Let's go.